Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing some news updates with you from KAS and KASPA and the KAS network. And I'm also going to share some thoughts that I have on KAS and the power law and why I think the power law, which is hugely popular, mightn't be completely accurate. And don't hate me for saying that. Watch the rest of the video and see what I mean. But I'm not sure if the whole power law thing is going to work out to be correct. So let's get into it. So yeah, guys, to start with, let's just talk about KAS this week. So it's been just a huge week for KAS. So as we know, the block reward has been cut now to under 104. So that just happened today. Or actually, probably by the time you're watching this, it'll be yesterday that happened. The hash rate is continuing to climb. More ASIC shipping, and then the Rust migration is nearly complete. So the full 10 blocks per second testing of KRC20 is happening right now, and the developers taking on new challenges and so on. So yeah, we're very close to moving from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second, and as we can see, that hash rate is still flying up, and this is quickly becoming one of the most popular cryptos out there. And then KAS. I'm obsessed with talking about Cubic lately. I mentioned it there. KAS, as we can see, it's hit a price of it hit its all-time high. So I think it crossed over the 19-cent mark for a while, and I think it's in the top 25 cryptos right now. So been really, really positive for KAS this week. So then I want to talk about the power law and why I don't feel like the power law is going to be traditionally followed. Not saying I'm right here, but I just want to share my thoughts on it. So, for any of you guys that don't know what the power law is, the power law is a relationship in which a relative change in one quantity gives rise to a proportional relative change in the other quantity, independent of initial size of those quantities. I know that not really that important what I was saying there, but that it can be seen in all over, from physical, biological, the followers, things include size of craters on the moon, solar flares, cloud sizes, the foraging patterns of species, the size of activity patterns of neurons. I think I've seen it in gene sequencing folding. I think in the distribution of how products will sell, popular products compared to less popular products. It's an interesting thing, the way the power law works. And then if you take how KAS has been following, so this is a power law line and how it develops. And if you watch then KAS's price action, we've got a lot of data now to support this. Is KAS's price action over the space of basically 2 years now, or close to 2 years. We're seeing that it's following this power law line, and it seems to be following it, more and more closely as time goes on. This is from a few days ago. This picture, this image here, probably with the all-time high, we've come back to hitting that line again. So it seems like KAS follows this power law. The only other crypto that follows this power law is Bitcoin. I think I might have also heard that gold in some way follows the power law. I don't know if that's true, but you guys can comment if that is true. But that's really a really interesting thing. And basically it's that, this, a crypto like Bitcoin or KAS following the power law will rise quite a bit in value initially, and then over time this line is going to level out and it's going to raise less and less in value and become more and more stable. And that's what we're seeing with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, still has a lot of growth to go through, and so does KAS based off the power law. And then the crypto proselyte, and that this was their image that I was just sharing here. They just shared, what their Caspa's fair value price according to the power law trajectory would be, and these are the prices for January of the mentioned years. So 2025, you would see a price of 50 cents. 2026, $1.60. 2027, $4. 2028, $8.50. 2029, $16.50. And by 2030, in terms of the power law, we should be hitting a price of around $30. So that's pretty incredible prices, and as you can see, over time, those price increases are just going down a small bit each year. But it's showing that KAS should increase a lot in value based on the power law. Now, why do I think that this could be wrong? Well, let me talk to you first about this guy here. You might recognize this guy, but this guy is called Nick Szabo. Nick Szabo is a really big deal in the crypto space. So Nick Szabo was the first person who proposed smart contracts, or the idea of smart contracts. So as you can see here, smart contracts were first proposed in 1994 by Nick Szabo, an American computer researcher who created a virtual money called spot gold in 1998. This was 10 years before the creation of Bitcoin. And then as we see over here, he created then BitGold, which I guess is what they meant by spot gold, but BitGold. In 1998, Szabo designed a mechanism for a decentralized digital currency he called BitGold. BitGold was never implemented, but has been called a direct precursor to the Bitcoin architecture. In Szabo's BitGold structure, a participant would dedicate computer power to solving cryptographic puzzles. Now, many people in the world would say that Nick Szabo is Satoshi and he did create Bitcoin. I don't know if that's true, but it is interesting that he's never come out and created another cryptocurrency since then, even though this guy is one of the true OGs and true geniuses of blockchain and cryptographic technology. Then also, I just have the cubic sign in here, firstly because I love cubic as well, but the reason I want to share that in is Nick Szabo was the person who first proposed quorum technology, which Cubic is based on a quorum, and as far as I know, it's the first crypto technology to use a quorum, but it's actually built on a paper by Nick Szabo. The quorum element of it is anyway. So this guy is a big deal, is basically what I'm trying to say. And now if you listen to this next clip, which is from the Tim Ferriss podcast, basically Nick Szabo is going to talk about something that isn't KAS yet, because KAS, when he was talking about this, I think it's from 2017 or something like that, KAS didn't exist at that time, but he refers to something that will become KAS eventually.
There's a guy named Aviv Zohar who's written some great papers. One of them is on Ghost, which is what Ethereum is based on. And he's got a follow-up to that whose name escapes me. And he's also co-authored a great paper on attacks against Bitcoin from the underlying network. So he's one of the experts on the security of Bitcoin, which is a skill and knowledge set in scarce supply. So.
Yeah, so then if we go like that, that's amazing to hear someone. I just want to describe how big of a deal it is to have Nick Szabo talking about something that hadn't developed yet, and then it turns out that thing is now in circulation and it is KAS and it's still in its early days development. So I think that's interesting. Then if we look at Vitalik Buterin, the Ethereum founder, he's just talking here about some stuff, but he's talking about optimal selfish mining strategies in Bitcoin. And then, if we look at this here from the founder of Avalanche, and he's talking again about optimal selfish mining strategies, and he's referring to Jonathan Sompolinsky. And then the Ethereum founder here, Vitalik Buterin, is referring to Jonathan Sompolinsky, and both referring to Aviv Zohar as well. They're referring to the team and the guys who created KAS, and they've been these are references from back in 2015, but these guys have been talking about us since before that. So if you look at the Ethereum white paper, there's a mention of Jonathan Sompolinsky. If you look at, as far as I know, at the XRP white paper, there's a mention of Jonathan Sompolinsky. The Avalanche white paper mentions of Jonathan Sompolinsky or his work. That work is a really big deal, and what that work ended up becoming is KAS. So I just want to share how big of a deal that is with you guys. And then if you look at the Casplex roadmap, so Casplex is the whole ecosystem that can be built on top of KAS. So if you think of Bitcoin, Bitcoin follows the power law, but it doesn't have any ecosystem built on top of it. Now, Ethereum did not follow the power law, but Ethereum is the second top cryptocurrency by market cap, but it doesn't solve the blockchain trilemma like KAS does. So, the whole ecosystem that's building on top of it doesn't really work. So KAS now has brought around KRC20 and KASPlex and KRC721, meaning a whole gigantic ecosystem can be built on top of the KAS network. And that whole ecosystem is most likely going to drain liquidity and drain projects from Ethereum, from Avalanche, from you name it. All these people, all these project creators have been waiting for KAS. They've been trying to build KAS and they haven't been able to do it. And it's finally been built, and now it's going to have smart contract functionality, and whole ecosystems are going to be able to be built on top of it. And all those projects are probably going to migrate over to KAS and KASPlex. And even if they don't all do it, many, many projects are going to build on KAS anyway, meaning that this is going to be a really, really big deal. So I'm going to end this video. Firstly, I want to explain to you why I don't think, KAS is going to follow the power law. I'm going to explain that in 1 second. But I'm going to end this video with a clip of a video that I shared before on this channel. But if you watched it before, it's worth watching it again. And if you've never seen it before, it's going to blow your mind, where you take all these OGs from the crypto space. So the founder of Cardano, the founder of Avalanche, the founder of Casper, not Caspa, Casper, the founder of Polygon, so many, the founder of Ethereum, so many OGs of the crypto space and the main people in the crypto space, and they're just out there back in 2015 talking about how they're trying to develop this unique thing, and they're referring to Jonathan Sompolinsky and referring to his work, and they're trying to copy it and they're trying to make it happen. And these are projects like, Solana, Cardano, that, went to incredible heights of 100 billion market caps, or close to 100 billion market caps. And, obviously Ethereum that's, crossed over 300 billion market cap. And they're all talking about this and saying that, this is what they're trying to develop and what they're trying to make happen. Even the creator of Cubic said that what KAS has managed to do is is like magic. So it's like witchcraft or magic. All these people have been talking about KAS for the past 8 or 9 years. They've had them in their white papers for the last 10 or 12 years. This is a big, big deal, and you're going to hear those guys talk. Before I share those guys talking, though, I just want to go back to this distribution. And the reason I think the power law is possibly incorrect in my mind is because we haven't seen KRC20 launch yet, and we haven't seen KASPlex launch yet. We haven't seen this whole ecosystem launching on top of the Caspa network, which I think could just push this to unknown heights and really just not break out on the downside out of the power law, but break out on the upside. Because Bitcoin followed this power law, but it didn't have an ecosystem built on top of it. KAS, with its halving system, with its the interest that people have in it, it's kind of like a natural phenomenon right now, to following the power law. But I feel like it's going to break out into something completely different. I think that's possible. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments about it. But anyway, check out this video that I'm going to... just last thing, yeah. Like in 2025, I cannot see KAS only being at 50 cent. I could be wrong about that, but I don't see it just at 50 cent. As far as following that power law goes, I think it's going to go, way, way, way higher than that. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'd love to see what you guys think. So yeah, at the end of this video, I'm going to share these guys, these OGs of crypto, talking about KAS, and I think this is going to blow your mind. Thanks, guys.
To start with, and a really rigorous inquiry.
I mean, it's extremely fascinating. I would say this is the most fascinating protocol out there.
It breaks things down. It doesn't damage throughput or security. So this was a line of researchers starting in Israel under two people, Avi Zohar and Yonatan Somopolsky.
What year did that come out?
And the first paper was called Ghost, and it came out 2013. And actually, we included Ghost, a version of it, in the Ethereum protocol. So later on, what they did is they built up the theory, they built up the rigor, and they created a new version of the protocol called Spectre, which came out in 2016.
Right.
And they've been since iterating and refining and thinking carefully about the model.
Putting all that work into, creating a DAG. I mean, that's something that you're really serious about implementing. I had that
thousands of transactions per second, low latency, confirmation times. It's basically like an order of magnitude performance.
Yeah, we have rewards for mining blocks. Actually, the rewards for mining blocks in Ethereum are a bit sort of better. They use what's called the ghost algorithm, which basically means in Bitcoin you might have the case where a bunch of people mine the block all at the same time, and only one actually gets rewarded because only one makes it into the blockchain. Well, in Ethereum, they all get rewarded. They get rewarded slightly less if they're a bit late, but they still get rewarded. So you end up with a slightly more of a reason to mine. Isn't the ghost algorithm created by who, sorry? The FSB, that's the Russian Secret Service. Well, if they created it, they did us a good favor. Thanks.
And we try to build on top of the ghost consensus and our new gas consensus and ordering algorithm in KAS blocks achieve a high performance, safety, and liveness guarantees.
Brilliant. There's a guy named Aviv Zohar who's written some great papers. One of them is on Ghost, which is what Ethereum is based on. And he's got a follow-up to that whose name escapes me. And he's also co-authored a great paper on attacks against Bitcoin from the underlying network. So he's one of the experts on the security of Bitcoin, which is a skill and knowledge set in scarce supply. So
Briefly, what we want to do is we want to research Spectre, which came from Avi Zohar and Yonatan Sambaplinsky, and extract from Spectre a specification and see if we can pull it into a production cryptocurrency like Zencash.
No, that's not the CPU floor, Spectre.
No, Spectre's a little bit older. So Spectre, the upgrade for Ghost. That's the problem is that you come up with a super cool name for your product. Somebody steal your damn names for it. If you Google Spectre Avi Zohar, AVI-ZOHAR, basically it's the upgrade of the prior work that they did, which was Ghost, which was what we used in Ethereum. The point is that you can make many blocks in parallel and that you can have a different way of structuring data and structuring transactions so that you can get as much scalability as possible.
So consensus runs on these two big algorithms. One of them is this LMD ghost fork choice rule, which is an adaptation of this ghost algorithm that was invented by Yonatan Sambaplinsky in 2013 to a proof of stake context.
And the main goal ghost proposal on the Bitcoin, and this is written by Aviv and Yonatan, both brilliant mathematicians from Israel. Mathematician
reading debts. I love Ghost, so I'm sure that Spectre is great. Just from the reputation of the authors, but I haven't looked at it. But have you? Is it awesome? Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So basically, we're just describing Spectre, which is this protocol by Aviv Zohar and Yonatan Sambaplinsky again. I'm not sure who the other.
A lot of research, and already a lot of very smart people have worked on many, many variants of consensus algorithms, from slight variants, such as, for example, the Ghost protocol, GOST.
The reason that it's called Casper is kind of interesting. And I don't know if the name means anything to you, but there's a real famous researcher, they're Israeli actually, and they came up with an inherent flaw in proof of stake networks. And this was pointed out back in 2013. And this flaw is called Ghost, the greediest, heaviest observed subtree, or Ghost for short.
As for example, rather than use it would be Satoshi's strongest chain method. He took the Avi Zohar's Ghost protocol from Hebrew University, which is vastly superior.
Adding DAGs. And right here in Israel, for example, there's been a large series of paper by Avi Zohar and Yonatan Sambaplinsky about things like Spectre, and later the other one was called Ghost. And Ghost came first, then Spectre, then Phantom. where they're saying, can we take traditional mining, tighten the block interval, and somehow deal with the orphans that are a consequence, and the system just works somehow. It's like a DAG versus a regular linked list. And it's a great line of research, and they're publishing papers and so.
And this leads us to this sort of second really important component of EC, which is chain selection. So for chain selections, we sort of follow a simple rule. Forks are bad, convergence is good, and sort of batching blocks together helps push the blockchain to converge. So we're using a block DAG structure like in Phantom or Spectre so that we make use of all the computation that was sort of, or all the storage that was generated.
So Taraxa operates on a block DAG topology. So this topology was first proposed by a bunch of researchers, Zohar and all. These are the guys that wrote the three pretty famous papers, Ghost, Spectre, and then Phantom Ghost Stack, right? So this topology actually allows multiple nodes on the network to simultaneously propose blocks, without sacrificing security. So they actually did a lot of very interesting research on that.
No one's ready for it. And so scaling prematurely by just ramping up block sizes, unfortunately, it might buy you some time, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be ready for that level of volume. On the other hand, you have the whole DAG and, Spectre and all those sort of technologies which are ready.
Work from Avi Zohar and Yonatan Samopinski on directed acyclic graphs, where they started with proof of work in something called Ghost, all the way down to Spectre, down to Phantom. So there's like a series of papers that they wrote. And the basic concept was that in proof of work, if you shrink the block interval, you get faster block times, but you increase the probability of orphan blocks. So ordinary Bitcoin rule is, well, if you have an orphan block, you have a race condition, whichever one you build on top of, that's the chain you go with, so you throw away the orphan block. So you lose all that work. With Ghost and Spectre and Phantom, you just throw it on to the chain. You include all of them as long as there's not a double spend. And if there is, there's a way of mitigating that within the protocol. If you follow the protocol and everybody's honest, it's very fast. You get a huge speed improvement.
And then the question we ask is the protocol secure for any latency? So fix lambda, fix the block creation rate, and now devise a consensus protocol that is secure for any D. And we argue that there's no proof of work, or indeed no other consensus protocol that has achieved it, and it's in fact impossible to achieve without proof of work.